This video is sponsored by EA. Check the link in the description if you want to play Apex Legends and check out Season 4 for yourself. So, hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about all of the legends and their pick rates or usage rates in Season 4. And the reason I want to talk about this is because while some of the legends may be more popular, it doesn't necessarily say they are the better legends. So we're going to take a look at the usage rates of each legend and also explain their viability and talk about whether that's the right usage rate, if there's any underrated legends or overrated legends. Now, all of this information comes from Dream Team, and the way they do this is if you go on that website you can track your own stats, and anybody that has a games played tracker that visits Dream Team and checks their stats, Dream Team will record that many games have been played with whatever legend. So for example, you go on there and you check your stats for Wraith, Lifeline and Octane, and it has trackers for games played. It will store that information, and then by gathering all of the information by everybody that visits the website, it can gather all of the games played across all accounts and then divide that by each legend, and that's how you get the legend usage. Yes, that means these numbers aren't accurate to what the actual numbers are, but they are a good guesstimate, and by looking at the list of how these things stack out, it definitely looks pretty on point with what I'd expect anyway. So all of this information is kind of aggregated over a few weeks on all platforms, but these are the latest usage rates that I have averaged out. We have Wraith at 25.75% pick rate, making her the #1 legend. Now, that means out of all games played that Dream Team recorded, 25% of those games were recorded by somebody who joined the game as Wraith. Now, we have Pathfinder at 19.5%. That makes sense, right? We have these two legends and then a massive drop off to Lifeline, Bangalore, Wattson and Octane. Now, Revenant is also up high, but I think because the season just started, he has kind of an inflated play rate. Same thing happened to Crypto, and we'll see more about Crypto's real usage rate in a minute. And then we have Gibraltar with 5.65%, Bloodhound with 4%, Caustic with 3.85%, Crypto with 3%, and Mirage with 2.6%. Now, why are these numbers important? When Respawn thinks about buffing and nerfing legends, they look at the usage and win rates of these legends. For example, Gibraltar had the lowest win rate and usage rate as far as I can tell, and he got buffed through the roof. And I think that we're still not seeing the true value of Gibraltar in these stats, but give it a couple of seasons and this number will definitely boost up. So, we already know about Wraith and Pathfinder. Let's start at the bottom of the list with Mirage. The least played legend right now is Mirage, and honestly it's no surprise. The bamboozle mechanic really doesn't quite hit the spot in terms of tactical viability, and Mirage's whole kit centers on himself and has no kind of option to help the team. Crypto, Caustic, Bloodhound, Gibraltar, Revenant, Octane, Wattson, Bangalore, Lifeline, Pathfinder and Wraith all have abilities that can help the team. You could say Mirage's decoy, you throw that in and somebody shoots your decoy and all players can see who shot the decoy and their location. That helps the team, sure, but then if you think about every other legend and their ability kit and how they can help the team, Mirage's team synergy is non-existent. He definitely needs some more love. So yeah, if you're a Mirage player or if you like Mirage, I definitely keep an eye out. I think Mirage is the most likely legend to get a buff in the near future. I think in terms of overrated or underrated compared to the usage rate we have here, this is about right. I'm surprised it's so low, but at the same time it makes sense it's at the bottom of the list. Mirage is definitely the most useless legend right now, so yeah, that makes sense. 2.6% usage rate for Mirage. Yeah, I can understand that. Let's hope he gets a buff. Next, we have Crypto. Now, I can see why Crypto has such a low usage rate too. Crypto still has some viability in the game. He can synergize well with a team. A well-executed ult can do really well. A well-placed drone can help in a lot of situations. But when you have to sacrifice your own player mobility and movement and ability to shoot players by controlling the drone, that kind of loses a lot of value, a huge amount of value. I'd love to see Crypto be able to remotely control his drone or send it into automated survey routes or something, Similar to how Mirage's decoy works, you just press the tactical button and the drone just travels wherever you point. I think that would be so useful. Who knows if that would ever come, but with crypto having such a low play rate, I'm quite hopeful that there will be a buff in the future. But something like that is quite a major rework. For now, we'll probably just see slight balance changes in terms of the health of the drone, the noise of the drone, the speed, the damage of the ult. Those kind of things that can be tweaked on the fly are most likely to be around the corner, if anything. Next, we have Caustic. I'd say Crypto's play rate is probably within range of his actual ability in game. I don't think he's underrated or overrated. He just needs some extra love. Next, we have Caustic. At 3.85% pick rate or usage rate, I'm very surprised by this. I feel like I see a lot more Caustics, but then again, maybe I purposely look out for Caustics because I love playing Caustic myself. I think this is the first underrated pick in this list. Caustic is an underrated legend if these usage rates are to go by. Caustic can deny vision, deny mobility. He is a great third-party tool thanks to his ultimate. He can set up situations where he can completely zone players by setting up good gas traps. He can hide behind his gas traps. Caustic has so much viability. If you can get good with Caustic, he's going to be really powerful and a great option if you're a solo player. I've won so many 1v3 fights with Caustic, more than perhaps any other legend. So the fact that he has such a low usage rate means a great thing if you're a Caustic player. Why? Well, somewhere down along the line, Caustic is either in line for a buff or a nerf is definitely not going to happen to Caustic. So if you invest your time in learning Caustic, in the future, it's going to play off pretty well. As you know with Gibraltar, if you mained Gibraltar in Season 0 or 1, people would be like, wow, this player's a fool. Main him now, and people are like, not another Gibraltar main, you know? Like, things change, and it won't take long, I think, for Caustic to get even more powerful if they really want to bring his usage rate up in line with the other legends. Next, we have Bloodhound, and I think even after Bloodhound Season 4 buff, we know that Bloodhound is underpowered, and the pick rate kind of represents that, so Bloodhound here isn't underrated or overrated, but they are definitely in need of a buff, and I think Respawn are actively trying to work on that. For one, Bloodhound got a buff in Season 4, his ultimate now gives you an extra 5 seconds of cooldown time if you get a knock, and we saw in the new collection event trailer that Bloodhound's tactical had a much larger radius. We actually saw a buff for Bloodhound in the start of Season 3 that was teased like this too. Actually, I think it was Season 2 that this happened. So yeah, Respawn have been slowly and subtly adding new functionality to Bloodhound's abilities, and I don't think they're stopping yet. They have given Gibraltar so much love, and I actually think that Bloodhound is next on the list. So if you like Bloodhound, you will actually benefit, I think, if you learn how to play Bloodhound well. There are definitely some more buffs on the way. We don't know how long, but I think they'll come. I do think they'll come, because Bloodhound's usage rate is pretty low, and I think they have a lot of potential that could easily be buffed in the right ways. Next we have Gibraltar, and Gibraltar's pick rate here is a little strange. 5.65% seems a little low considering how powerful he is now. A lot of people still have this kind of doubt about Gibraltar's capabilities because he's so big, but trust me, Gibraltar is one of the strongest legends in the game. Gibraltar has become a pro pick. And by that I mean Gibraltar's picked so much. His dome shield is really good now that you can throw it further, you can heal people faster in it. Everything together just makes Gibraltar so strong, and I don't know why. I think in a couple seasons we'll start to see more Gibraltar mains come in and this pick rate will kind of go higher. So yeah, Gibraltar is really underrated right now, and because of that I think that it's going to be a while before Gibraltar gets changed. Gibraltar is definitely a great option to learn, and you could really do a lot of damage with him. Next we have Revenant. Now, a lot of people have differing opinions on Revenant. I think the general consensus is Revenant's ultimate is pretty underpowered, whilst Revenant's tactical and passive have some use, but there could be a bit of tweaking there. I think the 6% play rate is kind of, you know, I don't think it's going to move too much, but I do imagine it will drop a little bit in future seasons because the newness of that legend will die off, the novelty will die off, and Revenant's capabilities, people are not liking it so much. The unfortunate thing is Revenant's really new, and I don't think there'll be many major changes for him for a while because there are so many other legends that need some love, and I don't know, I don't think that Respawn will want to push out too many major buffs at once. Revenant, if you main Revenant, you're gonna have to stick on hard because I think it'll be a while before Revenant gets any love. Octane has a 6.75% play rate or usage rate, which means on Dream Team, 6.75% of recorded games are played with an Octane player, which is pretty low, but it's a lot higher than Mirage, Crypto, Caustic, and even Bloodhound. I think that Octane gets played a lot more because of his fast-paced abilities really make him a lot of fun to play, but a lot of people doubt Octane's abilities, saying that he needs a buff. I don't know if an Octane buff is going to come anytime soon. I think that Respawn, I don't know what their thoughts are on Octane personally, but I think that they want to give more love to Crypto, Bloodhound, and especially Mirage, so probably going to be a while. I think that he is an overrated legend. By that I mean his usage rate is higher than his actual viability. In comparison, Gibraltar is underrated. His usage rate is lower than his viability. Next we have Wattson, and Wattson has a 6.8% usage rate, and that is, in line with Octane. And it's interesting, I feel like in casual games where there's not much communication, or the chances that you have many teams surviving in the late games is smaller, Wattson's usage and value goes down. But as soon as players play more sweaty, more focused, more coordinated, and there's moments to set up camp, then Wattson really has more value. Wattson is a very viable legend in high tier ranked play, and I think that's why Wattson's usage rate is so high. So, I mean, if you're playing super casual, Wattson is kind of overrated, I think. But if you're playing super serious, you're playing ranked, you're in high tier games, Diamond, Master, whatever, yeah, Wattson is crucial. She is definitely a very important pick. So, yeah, learn Wattson, understand her value in high ranked, and casual players very different. Next we have Bangalore, a 7.25% usage rate. I think that's in line with her viability. I think Bangalore is one of the better legends in terms of what she can do. It's not quite as good as Wraith, but Bangalore's pick rate is nowhere near Wraith, so yeah, it makes sense. Her viability is about the same. I don't think we're going to see any buffs to Bangalore for a long time, but that doesn't matter so much. I feel like she's viable enough, so, you could main her and not feel worried that she's underpowered or anything. Lifeline. I actually think that Lifeline is a little overrated now. 8.8% pick rate. It's gone down, sure, it used to be a lot higher, but people are overrating Lifeline. Sure, she has the revive shield, which is cool. That does have a lot of value, but her ultimate is completely useless. And by that, I mean the loot in World's Edge is geared towards being able to get high tier gear very easily. Level 3 and even level 4 gear is spawning all the time. So landing an airdrop is quite pointless, and in situations where you don't want to draw too much attention, it's probably going to get you killed. I think that, yeah, Lifeline's overrated. Her tactical isn't too great either. It comes in handy in a pinch, but there are better abilities, and now that Gibraltar's kind of stolen some of Lifeline's power as well, it's kind of a shame. And the fact that Lifeline's usage rate is so high kind of makes me think that she won't get a buff in a long time, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Lifeline's identity is kind of lost a little bit with Gibraltar taking some of those skills, so we'll see if Respawn has any plans under their sleeves, but I really doubt it. One thing I will say about Lifeline is her dueling potential is pretty good. Being able to quick heal faster because of that 25% extra heal at any time, not just within the dome shield like in Gibraltar's case, is pretty good. But then again, gold shields are kind of everywhere now. Next we have Pathfinder, a 19% usage rate, 19.5. That is pretty in line with Pathfinder's capabilities. The zipline is a useful kit for late game, it's a useful kit for repositioning. The passive is actually quite useful too, and a lot of pro teams will take it because of its value. Although the rings are quite predictable anyway, it's very useful to know early game, and Pathfinder's grapple is one of the best tactical abilities in the game, in my opinion. It's one of my favorites because of its crazy mobility. Pathfinder is always going to be a really good pick simply because of that grapple. That's my personal opinion, and obviously a lot of people agree with me. So Pathfinder's probably not going to get any changes, maybe a nerf, but I think that's unlikely. I believe that they'd rather boost up the lower tier legends first. So we did see a nerf to Pathfinder in Season 3, but it really didn't make much difference. I think if there's any nerfs in the future, it'll be the same. And then we have Wraith, 25.75% usage rate. That means 25% of games tracked on Dream Team are tracked by a player who chose Wraith. Now, that is quite huge. I think that Wraith's abilities are very, very good. The portal is so useful for repositioning. Her basic invincibility on her tactical is really good too, and even her passive is amazing. So Wraith, yeah, this is not underrated or overrated, but if you play Wraith, you may have to be a little bit scared of potential nerfs in the future, and I'd definitely be open to the idea that other legends may get buffed in the future that could give more value to you. For example, Gibraltar has been buffed so much that I think a lot of players would appreciate playing Wraith. So yes, feel free to insta-lock Wraith for now, but keep your mind open. Future things could happen with other legends and make you want to change your legend, or your main legend rather. So that's the look at the legend usage rate. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!